What's cracking? Welcome back to the channel, people. Um, this is gonna be a crazy video for me. So I'm right here in the outskirts of my neighborhood. Um, I'm at Oak Park. Oak Park. My neighborhood used to claim about 5 different parks as ours. This one isn't in the barrio. It's on the outskirts. Real nice park. But one thing about this park is, for one, my clique, the Tiny Locos, we used to be here every weekend. Um, that 5 months that I was out, I don't know, before that and after that, they probably, well, I don't know about after. But um, this place right here, this part of the park, we called it the Chimney because of that right there. And everybody knew that you would find the tiny locals, but the tinies, you would find us at the Chimney. Now, let me sit down for a minute. Let me adjust this. Where I'm sitting right now, this exact spot that I'm sitting in, is where I sat, let me see, 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago to the day. This is exactly where I was sitting just a few hours before I killed a man. The murder I went to prison for, let me say. Right? And I remember sitting here, right here at this table I'm sitting at. There was a bunch of family. But you guys don't know. You know, it's funny because there's been people in the comment section that have made up this, the trolls have made up this whole uh, thing on what my murder was and how my murder occurred. It's funny how they come up with stuff, right? But today we're going to talk about it because, um, I made a post on my Instagram today. This video's going to come out tomorrow. I made a post on my Instagram today because I'm pretty much to the conclusion that um, I may be done with YouTube. Not because I want to, but because YouTube has decided that they are not going to send notifications out for my videos. Look at my videos. I have almost 40,000 subscribers on this channel, and I struggle to get 5,000 views. And it isn't because you guys don't want to watch it. It's because they're not sending notifications out. I get people are telling me all the time, I'm not getting your notifications. I'm not getting your notifications. And, it's just very frustrating. So I'm probably going to be going back into a shop soon. If I go back into a shop, I just can't. I can't. I can't put in the effort that it takes to run a channel, and I have 2 channels. I don't want to. I don't want to give up on my channels, but I have to pay the bills. Remember, nobody pays my bills but me. That'll continue. Now, getting back to my case that night. So I had showed up. There was a celebration of a baptism. One of the homies had baptized his son. And so there was probably about 30 dudes from the Tiny Locals here. There was probably 20 dudes from the Loquitos. There were about 6 vatos from the east side, our worst enemies. There was probably 5 or 6 from Goleta, who was a neighborhood I didn't like them more than the east side myself. You know how it is in the neighborhood. Your neighbor could have a traditional worst rival, but then within the neighborhood, there's other neighborhoods you don't like more. I didn't like Goleta more than the east side, right? But, you know, this was a family thing. And so they were related to the family. And so I approached the Vatos, from Goleta, and I let them know, like, hey, this is a family thing. You guys are going to be welcome here until the sun goes down. When the sun goes down, leave with the families. And I told the east side the same thing, and everybody understood, and we were chilling. And we had a cake, a bunch of food, bunch of beer, bunch of music. Mariachis used to walk through here, $20 a song, getting their money. And I remember sitting, like I said, right here on this spot, and I was playing dominoes, teams, and it was me and this dude I had never seen, and then it was my crimey. Well, they both would have had to be my crimies, and we were playing teams, dominoes, right? But the vato on my team, I didn't recognize him, like I said, and I thought maybe he was a youngster. I just didn't know from the neighbor. Now, I say youngster, I was only 19, but there were homies from the Loquitos here with us, and they were younger than me, 14, 15 years old. So I figured, okay, maybe he's from the Loquitos. But I remember he had his mouth was busted. He had a cut right here. And I was thinking, like, damn, man, what happened to this vato's mouth? Well, my crimey, the one that wound up snitching on me, he looks over and he goes, hey, what happened to your mouth? And my crimey, he was a big dude, and and he was like, hey, what happened to your mouth? No, no, I take that back. He asked him, he goes, hey, Owens, what's your name? And the guy, because he wasn't talking, all of us were talking bullshitting except him. And he said his name. And my crimey says, where are you from, Holmes? And he says, I'm from the east side. I liked it. He didn't pee on himself, you know. He said where he was from. So I thought that was feed, man. I respect that. And my crimey, again, he's a big dude. He had hands. Well, he had power in his hand. He had a good knockout on him. And the first thing he says, I should have known by that way your mouth is busted up that you from the east side, this and that. So he went on one, right? And the vato, was like, hey, Holmes, what's that all about? We're playing dominoes, we're at a family thing, this and this and that. And my crimey tried to bully him after that a little bit more, right? And then I told him, I said, hey, Holmes, why don't you shut up, eh? You know what I mean? Like, the vato's not doing nothing. There's a few of his homeboys here. The vato's from the G here. You know what I mean? This is a family thing. If he sticks around when it's dark, then we'll deal with it. But right now, leave him alone. He's my partner and we're whooping you guys. So quit crying, right? So he was mad and we kept playing dominoes. Now, a story came up. And I'm not going to go into the details of the story. But the way the story basically went down was this. The night before, on the other side of this, so you go down the park here and there's a bridge. And that's the bridge we took to get to where the murder happened. We'll get there. So my crimey, this one and a few of the other ones that were actually here the night that this occurred had been on the other side of the bridge, and they were waiting to get picked up by some other homies. And they saw a house party and they were like, orale, the homies are throwing a party. How come we don't know about this? They went into the house party. Again, my crimey, the big mouth, he's a big dude, right? He asked Sahaina to dance. They don't recognize nobody in the party. So he asked Sahaina to dance. She's like, yeah. She gets up. They're dancing, and vatos around him start throwing up E's, right? For the east side. And so the crime was like, what the fuck? So he immediately walks over to the DJ. The DJ back then, those of you that were around that know, DJ Oswaldo. I don't know what they used to call him, but his name was Oswaldo. That dude was bad. So he walks over and he goes, hey, hand me the microphone. And Oswaldo's like, hey, come on, don't, because this dude's known, right? Hey, come on. And he's like, hand me the fucking microphone. So he hands him the microphone and tells him, turn it on and turn the music down. So he does. My crimey goes on to disrespect the east side, tell him that anybody that has a problem with what he has to say to step outside with him. And it's only him and one other homie, but they didn't know the other homie was with them because he was from the Loquitos, got jumped out because he wanted to be able to party with all the different cliques without anybody clique tripping on him. They didn't realize he was, so they thought the homie was by himself, but nobody stepped up. He gives the mic back and he's disrespecting all these dudes. And one of them from the east side was like, hey, Holmes, you know what I mean? Like, why don't you kick back? And my crime was like, why don't you shut the fuck up? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like what I got to say, let's handle this shit. So he tells my crimey, let's go outside. My crimey, boom, heads straight outside, right? The other homie is by the door, and like I said, they didn't realize that he was a West Sider. He's watching. The vato that called my crimey out starts telling his other homies like, "Come on!" They didn't want to go, and he's like, "Come on, we're just gonna jump this fool." They all head outside, all three of them. The fourth one is going out. It was four dudes. The fourth one is going out. The little homie by the door steps out behind him, starts to go down the stairs with them, or out the front door, out the front door with them. The last vato pulls a pipe out of his pants to try to hit my crimey. And when he pulls it, when he reaches back, the little homie, who's another one of my crimies, snatches a pipe out of his hand and hits him in the head with it. When he hits him in the head, the car that the homies were waiting to pick them up, it was a Volkswagen, pulls up, boom. They jump out, and while the East Siders were planning on trying to jump my crimey, they basically all took off running when the car pulled up, except one. And they left him hanging. The other ones inside the house didn't come out and help him. He got stomped out. They didn't hurt him bad. They stomped him out. They broke something on him. I had nothing to do with it. So they're telling me the story, right? And I'm irritated that they're telling me the story because I know it's not even a big deal. But they're saying it because this vato on my domino team is from the East Side, right? So I hear this story and I'm like, doesn't matter. Like, the fuck is this? Fuck this story. Homes the vatos from the East Side. Stop talking about that shit, you know? Like I said, when it gets dark, you know, then whatever happens when it's dark, it happens. But there's family here. We're going to leave this shit alone. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm telling you that story is I didn't realize until I was in the county what happened next. What happens once I leave this park and I'm going to take you to the apartments next. It was all because of that night before, that incident the night before. This vato next to me, the one that snitched on me. People came in retaliation the next night. And now I'm going to take you over there to those apartments and we'll talk about what happened there. All right, what's cracking, everybody? We're back. So right here, so you see the road behind me? That's a few blocks down, you're in the neighborhood. This is the outskirts. This is our junior high right here, right? So I wanted to stop and talk right here first because this right here was the way we came. Because down that way, there's the bridge is that way, right? We came over the bridge. There was 14 of us. As we were walking, you know, me being in YA, I was always aware of my surroundings. I just paroled from YA, right? And the homies were horseplaying, being real loud, right? And we got right here to this spot here. I'm gonna turn this way to show you guys. You see the flagpole right there? There's a firehouse. When we got here, I stopped around this spot right here, right? And I watched my homies walk past this fire station. That right there, okay? And I watched the fireman come out, and I stopped in this spot I'm in right now. And I was lighting a cigarette. And I'm watching him. He was bringing that flag down, acting like that's what he was concerned about, but it wasn't. He was watching the homies, and I'm watching him. And I'm smoking a cigarette, and I'm looking at him. The homies don't know that I had stopped walking with them. He doesn't know I'm watching him. Then he just happened, I don't know what it was, spider senses or whatever, but he looked over at me and then folded quicker and got out of there. Now, that's when I took off walking. By now, I'm way behind the homeboys. The homeboys are already pretty much in the apartments, right? but I'm strolling up this way. I don't know if I'm going to keep all this in or edit it. I don't know how it sounds with all the cars. I got a mic on. Hopefully it's not bad. But we're walking all the way through here. We're all drunk as hell. We're young gangbangers, idiots. We don't care about nothing or nobody. Okay? All right now. So here we go. I get here. Well, let me get all the way to it. See these apartments? Because there was a few murders in these apartments, right? After mine, they changed the apartments, the whole thing, the whole look of it. They built some stuff on here that they didn't have before, right? But I'm almost there. So here we go. So here's the apartments. When I turn, see back then, you could see in there where that gray car is, there used to be a doorway. My homeboys lived right on the other side of where that door would have been. When I turned, right here where the speed bump is, a little bit past it, there was a car. There was a carload of people, right? Give me 1 second. That was a car that concerned me. I walked up to it. Long story short, man, they were there to put in work. I jammed them. They didn't say nothing, and they drove off. Now, where this right here, this is all brand new. That was a swimming pool. We were gonna go in there. There was a bunch of paisitas that were nervous about us being here. So I told the homies, come on, let's go here. Let's hang out right here on the corner till the pool empties. We just wanted to go in there and drink. We came to this corner right here, the corner of Hacienda and Morac. And I remember standing right here on this corner, right? And we had been here maybe 5 minutes, maybe about 5-10 minutes. And the car that had been in the apartment, none of my homeboys saw the car but me. I'm the only one that approached it. The car came down, stopped at this stop right here, the stop sign. And when they did, they stopped for a while. I guess they were doing a head count, or they were trying to figure out should they get out of the car. And I remember I had my back to it like this. I wasn't tripping. Gang of homies were facing that way, right? And then I just heard, I think they want pedo. Again, I'm like this. I said, who? I turned around and I looked, and I said, man, that's them right there. We all ran towards the car. They yelled out arrival barrio. They said, we'll be back. They took off that way, right? But these were all older cats. You know, once the victim reports came on there, they were all 29, 30, 31 years old, except one, the one that I was actually trying to kill that night. He got away. But anyways, so I'm not going to go into the apartments because I see there was a lot of people right there, and they're looking like, who is this dude? Why is he filming? But just know we were at the end of those apartments, this driveway right here that I just showed you, right? And the Vatos wound up showing up on foot. We had guns. They showed up on foot. And we chased them out of the apartments and chased them right here. This is something that I think it's important. The victim's family doesn't even know this because their friends don't want them to know it. Eh? But I'm going to tell you guys what really happened. So right here on this spot, we chased them out here. There was 5 of them, 14 of us. We could see that we're older cats. We're bangers. We're like, man, we're going to beat the dog shit out of these older dudes. We had guns on us, but we're like, if we don't have to use them, we're just going to beat the dog shit out of these fools. Now, when I told you I jammed the car, I asked them who they were looking for. Do you know where you're at? Again, they were older cats. So I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. They never said nothing. When we came right here, everybody was staring at each other. I was the last one to come out with my homeboy, rest in peace. And I asked him again, who you vatos looking for? Do you vatos realize where you're at right now? Like, we ain't playing over here. I went so far as to tell them, look, Holmes, we're celebrating a baptism here, eh? If you vatos are looking for pedo, you guys want to put in work, you guys want to bang, whatever, go down to the park, right down the street, about 8 blocks from here. Go to the park. There's probably 100 vatos in that park hoping somebody like you shows up. They never spoke. One of my homeboys was standing next to the vato I wound up killing. And because they wouldn't answer me, right here where I'm standing is where he was standing. And he had what looked like a pipe in his hand. They found the pipe, so all this is in the record. Because he wouldn't answer me, and the homie was standing so close to him, like right next to him, he reached back and he slapped him in his face as hard as he could. And he told him, answer my homeboy when he's talking to you. When he did that, one of their homeboys, the one I was really after that night, took a step back. I'm trying to see, where's the light, man? There used to be a light right here. The only light around here. It's gone now. Yeah, it's gone. He took a step back and reached back into the back of his pants. And he said, what's up? That was the dumbest mistake you could make. And he's the one I wanted. Because that's when our guns came out and bullets started flying. These vatos took off running. I'm going to walk you guys. These vatos took off running up this street. Okay. And I remember I hit this corner right here. When I hit this corner, I wanted to shoot one of them. And I remember thinking there's only a couple more bullets left in the gun. Save them. Because I was pissed. In my head, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to kill as many of them as I can. Now, obviously, I was running in the street. I wasn't, on the sidewalk like I am now. But I ran up, and this is a little hill, eh? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where we were. And I ran up this way. I don't want to talk too loud because of neighbors. And I came in here. Now, I don't want to go in there. It's private, it says. But where that silver minivan is, or whatever that thing, SUV, wherever that is, I ran into there. There was no car there. And when I made the right turn to cut in there because I saw them running in there, the vato that I wound up killing, I never saw him. He was hiding on the porch. I guess I got too close. He got scared. He moved. And when he moved, I remember seeing in my head, you're dead, eh? And I shot him in the back of the head. I'll tell you guys right now, like I told the board, whatever they came to do that day, once they took off running from me, it was my ego that took over. That man had a newborn son that he should have been able to go home to that night. I used to say his friends should have cared more. But nah, I should have cared more. The fact that he came into my neighborhood, wasn't afraid to stand there in front of us, it irked me because that was my ego. And when he made that move, came off that porch, he would have just stood there, I wouldn't have saw him and I would have shot his homeboy. It doesn't make it any better. But when he came off that porch, I shot him dead center in the back of his head. Watched him drop and then jumped in the car, got a ride to my homeboys from there, went home and slept like a baby. It's not who I am now. It is who I was, I wanted to tell this story because, like I said, if my YouTube channel is going to be dead, the reason why I have a YouTube channel and I have the life experiences that I had was because of what happened that night. And I wanted to share that with you guys. All right. Remember, I don't glorify none of that shit. I'm not proud of what I did. It don't take a man to kill somebody. You know, I was a little kid with a fucked up ego. And I didn't care about shit, you know. But anyways, that's the story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I don't even know if you can enjoy it, but hopefully it gave you some insight into how some people think when they don't give a fuck about themselves or anybody else. So with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'll holler at you. Be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.